I'm Claudine Wong, joining you from the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm joined now by Jamie Patrick, who's the general manager of Patrick and Company, which is a longtime San Francisco business. How are you holding up?
Um, we're doing pretty good. In all retrospect, it's a tough time right now that we're all
Yes.
going through, and we're trying to manage it as best we can.
Yes, I mean, it's so difficult, and it's difficult just emotionally, financially, and all of the above. I think when you're talking about the situation, in terms of what everyone is experiencing, your store, as it stands right now, has been shut down for for a while, right? I mean, I let
Yes.
me pull up a picture we have of just kind of what the outside looks like right now. It's a nice shutdown in terms of having a nice message for everybody. But when did all of this go up, and when did you? Was it right at the shelter in place?
Well, it's been about 2.5 weeks right now since we decided to board it up. We tried to avoid boarding the store up because we wanted to send the message that Patrick and Company is still here.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, we did have a couple break-ins consecutive days, and we decided that it's best that we board up the store. And we decided to put a message on the outside to let people know that we appreciate them. We've been there a long time in San Francisco at that location, and that we'll be here when you get back, when everyone comes back.
And that's a great message. I mean, I think, the loving and serving San Francisco since 1873. It does remind us that since 1873, there have been a lots of ups and downs, and to
Yes.
try to put it in perspective. And if you guys have been around that long, then you have some practice at getting through
Yes.
this. This is a family business. I know we have some historical pictures. Tell us a little bit about how this business started.
Well, it started with my great grandfather on the fourth generation. He started a business. Patrick and Companies remain the same name. We primarily started out as more of a hardware type store. There wasn't really true office supplies as we know it back then. So we've kind of morphed over the years, and back in the early 1900s, 1920s, we began kind of moving into the more marking devices, rubber stamps, metal signage, and now we're a full-fledged office supply company. We still maintain a lot of the old products that we had before, but we've moved into more, gift items, journals. We sell, puzzles, the whole gamut, whole
This is a
variety
look
of products.
inside your store
It
fairly
is on Market
recently.
Street.
Yeah, fairly recently. So you can see kind of the whole gamut of things. And I imagine that as a company, separate from global pandemics that take over our world and basically shut it down, you've had to adapt and respond through those four generations of just doing business in general.
Yes, it's been it's really something that there's been lessons that have been passed down from generation to generation. It seems like each generation has had their own epidemic almost.
Hmm.
From the 1906 earthquake that we experienced in San Francisco, we were back up and running within a month after the earthquake. To the the Depression, to one of our epidemics, not too long ago, was the invention of the big box stores, the Staples, the Office Depots, and we had to adapt to that. And I guess my generation is the coronavirus. And one of the things that has been very important from my grandfather, my great grandfather, my grandfather, and my father is to take care of our employees, and that's been one of the vital vital pieces of this whole puzzle for us, is to make sure that we are taking care of our employees during this difficult time.
Yeah. So you have 20 plus employees. I mean, was there a meeting to say, I'm sure there's been a gazillion meetings
Mhm.
about this, but to say, what is going to be our mission? Like every business, right? It kind of has a mission statement. What's going to define us, not only in the good times and in the bad times? And what was the discussion, and how did that go? Because I think, for a lot of businesses, they want to, if all things were equal, right? We want to look out for our employees. We want to, depending on their size, depending on their money structure. Um,
Yep.
but was there this mission statement meeting saying whatever we do from here on out, it's going to be about
Yes,
protecting this
there's
family
been
we've created?
there, there's been a couple of those meetings. the initial meeting with our employees when we got the shelter in place order is we wanted to make sure that our employees knew that we were there for them as they've been there for us for all these years. You know, our 21 employees, we have, I think it's an average of 17 years that these employees have been with us. And we've had some
This
employees.
is like family for you.
They are family for us. And, you know, one of our messages to them initially was that we're here for you. And it's really important for my father to always provide reliable and dependable income for our employees. So we wanted to make sure that we were going to let them know that during this time we were going to maintain payroll, we were going to maintain health insurance, and be there for them if anything they needed. And as we've gone through this this evolution, and hopefully soon start talking about coming back to work,
Nice.
we're talking about a reactivation plan. How are we going to come back? What's going to be different? What do we need to do differently as we start being, as businesses are start to be introduced back into the economy? So we're in a lot of discussions with our employees.
Well, you know, you've got 21 employees, and I think there are going to be some people who listen to this and say, well, I would love to do that, but I can't, because
Right.
I can't, you know, I mean, we are hearing about bankruptcies of major chains and corporations and people that you would think would be financially solvent, or maybe have that little rainy day fund to get them through some points.
Right.
What do you think then made this possible, besides the mission statement of saying, well, we want to make it possible?
Yep.
You also have to be able to make it possible. So can you point to something that you guys have done just in being very—
Yeah, I think there's a number of those reasons. One, I believe that before we experienced this virus, the economy was good. We were having pretty much the best 3 years we've had prior to this in a long, long time. And with that being said, you know, the way my dad runs the business, he's very conservative, meaning financially conservative. We don't. We can't afford to buy advertising it at the ballparks and stuff. So he really watches our money really well. I think that in all honesty, some of the corporate tax cuts that we experienced over the last couple of years have allowed us to put some money in the bank for this. And you know, we have our customers. You know, we have customers that come to us and on a weekly, daily basis that support us. And it's, you know, we're fortunate enough. I know there's a lot of companies out there that aren't as fortunate enough to have been able to do this, but you know, we felt that it is our responsibility with that money that our employees have helped us earn, that we pay it back to them right now during this time of need.
So this is the website, right, that you guys
Yes.
have that we're looking at now.
Yes.
Tell me, have people been going on, and the customers that you've had, are they buying all this stuff and you're able to deliver, and is that keeping you going? Because if you're able to keep yourself going in this space, then theoretically you can provide help longer, because none of us know how long this is going to go on, unfortunately. And while we all want to get back to normal, it is hard to imagine what that normal is going to look like.
It is hard to imagine. And yes, our website, we have seen a nice uptick in our website, in our e-commerce, which has been great. We carry 38,000 items on our website. We are going to
go through all of them.
Not going to scroll through all of them, but we're still able to fulfill from this website. Anything that says it's in stock, we're able to fulfill within 1 or 2 days. We are still basically price matching Staples, Office Depot, Amazon. Now, in the big picture, in the past, our retail business is about 70% of our business, and our e-commerce is about 30%. So,
okay, so the picture that we see right here inside your store, right? That's where most of your business
it is
two
with
locations.
our 2 locations. You know, we do on a normal day, we do between 300 and 500 transactions, meaning we have about 300 to 500 employees or customers that come through our store on a daily basis. So, you know, that's a big chunk of our money, our revenue. So we're really, right now during this time, we're really doing a lot of stuff to try to focus on our e-commerce and build that e-commerce. And that's something coming out of all this that we want to continue to build and push. People do still like to come in and touch and feel and look at the different colors and the new items. So our focus is to keep going with the retail, the brick and mortar, not to push that away. It's the brick and mortar's been around for almost 150 years now.
Yeah, and I like that. I'm old school. I do obviously shop a lot online as well, but it's also that interaction between your customers that I think makes you want to shop at a certain place over another place. In terms of that, does that your success on e-commerce determine how long you can do this for your employees if it doesn't come back quickly, or also, and I hate to even say it, but if we have a second round of a shelter in place where businesses have to shut down again?
So the money's not endless. We don't have an endless bank account, but so we're assessing that paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. We're hoping that the science tells us that we can start working on a reactivation plan, and I know there's going to be changes coming. The government's going to be telling us how we're going to need to operate safely. We're seeing some of that start to be implemented in grocery stores and those kind of things. So to say that we have an endless supply of money to do this, we don't. But the e-commerce helps, but it doesn't cover.
It doesn't supplement.
No, it doesn't supplement. So we are trying to navigate the government relief plans. They're very difficult. I think figuring all that out, that's going to be a long process as well. So we much rather have our employees know that every other Friday right now, they're going to wake up and they're going to have their paycheck, and that they can go to the doctor when they need to. But it's not an endless supply.
Yeah, I imagine but it is, for them to be able to wake up every other Friday and know that they can pay their bills, that is a huge impact. Have you heard from them as they reach out and as you've shared your plan? I imagine there is a lot of gratitude to not have to worry about that space.
We do. We're continuing our Thursday meetings on Zoom, which is a new thing for a lot of our employees. And it's been a fun activity actually to actually see and hear what other people are doing. It's actually almost gotten us a little closer. If that may sound a little weird, but
in the trenches we do make bonds, right?
Yes. And so it's been nice. Every Thursday morning we have our regular sales meeting, we call it. And right now we're starting to give some of our employees some projects to do at home, to think about how we're going to, when we come back, some different things that we need to do. We're working on a purchasing right now for when we reopen and what needs to be in the forefront. Everything, cleaning supplies and masks, and which are very difficult to get right now.
Yes, you are preaching to the choir for sure on that. I know it is a hard thing, and when you order them, you still don't know how long
when you're going to get them.
The delivery date is an elusive thing these days, as everyone's
That's
trying
right.
to do the best they can. I imagine there are lessons learned. You talk about 4 generations and all the time that you've been here. I want to pull up this picture back again from, this one we looked at before.
Yep.
Now I look at the sides now because this is after the 1906 quake, and this building is standing. There is rubble around it. And you can see, I think from maybe that financial conservative approach has come because the storms, they continue to come, in whatever form or fashion. What do you think as you come out of this space, because we will eventually come out of this space, will be the big lesson that we all take away from it? And you guys as a business in terms of, your next 150 years?
Well, I think there's a number of answers to that question. I think for me personally, as the next generation behind my father, is that, that having money in the bank and saving money is really important. And not having a lot of revolving debt is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you need that at some points in a business cycle, but learning how to run your business in a manner that is sustainable, even in times like this. I think another lesson that is going to be learned, and that we're learning right now, and I think a lot of companies are learning, is that we can operate differently. There's a different way that we can be doing things. And that will come into play with us. What products are we going to carry? Um,
Hmm.
what the style of store? Are we going to need to widen our aisles for 6 feet space? And also, I think there's a lesson to learn that that there's a emotional side to all this. That we need to. People are going to come out of this, I hope, a lot more caring about each other. And I think that's going to be a big lesson on all this. And I hope that businesses take that into their game plan as well. That what we all have to look out for each other. And I think that's happening right now. I think a
Yeah.
lot of companies are looking out for each other. And if we come out of that with that one lesson, I think that's a great thing.
That is a great thing. You mentioned, changing the aisles, and you're right. Unless you change the traffic pattern, even when you open up the stores, we're looking at the inside of,
Yep.
it is a different way at looking at doing business. And I imagine even e-commerce, if you have a lot of success there, how you reimagine what the next 100 years looks like, as that partnership and that ratio maybe changes a little bit.
Yep.
You know?
And it needs to. And that's a definite thing that we're looking at. We need to switch those percentages a little bit to
Yeah.
more e-commerce. And anyway, it's going
Well,
to be.
if we didn't want to adapt, if we were resistant at all to adapting, here's what we know to be true. At some point, you know, survival, depends on us being able to get creative and looking at the way we can exist in the new space that we're in.
Yep.
So I love the long time businesses. I love that Patrick and Company is certainly part of the fabric that makes up the San Francisco Bay Area, the city of San Francisco, and what you're doing for your employees. I think you wouldn't find anyone arguing who wouldn't say they are grateful to see that some businesses are able to do those to make these tough times just a smidge, just a smidge easier. So thank you so much for your time, Jamie Patrick with Patrick and Company. I wish you the safety and health in these coming days and the ability to get back on your feet in the new way that helps really our entire economy and the family that is Patrick and Company.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.